If you're tired of hitting a ceiling when it comes to your leadership journey and you're ready for a breakthrough, you're ready to become an extraordinary leader, well, stay tuned because I'm going to walk you through how I went from struggling and as being generous leader to someone who regularly creates extraordinary leaders. I create extraordinary and limitless leaders. And I do it every day. Hang out and we're going to walk through exactly how I did that and how you can too. Hi, my name is Clay Cutts. I'm a business and leadership coach and the founder of Square Peg Coaching. I help good leaders become extraordinary, particularly in the mental health and substance abuse recovery communities. Throughout my career, I've been in a number of leadership positions, both in corporate settings and in companies and also in my own stuff. I've been an entrepreneur for a good chunk of my work life, and leadership's always been this thing on the radar for me, and it's something that I realized I wasn't good at it. Right? It's like I saw other people and I saw other leaders and other executives who were like really inspirational, and I had some really good leaders in my career. I was really lucky to have a few, and there were some times when I really felt stuck, and I felt like I felt felt downright discouraged, right? Because I was watching these other people bring their teams and lead their companies and really sort of almost effortlessly, and I thought what's wrong with me? Why can't I do this? And it's not like it was a complete mess. I was okay. Like I was doing okay, and okay wasn't enough for me. I wanted to be extraordinary. I mean, not to like special, like in a better than other people kind of way, but like I have gifts to bring to the world. I have value to add. I have, I can make the world a better place. I feel like, and I do, because and not being able to lead the way I want to was preventing me from having the impact that I wanted and creating the legacy that I wanted to create. So that's when I met a coach. I met a leadership coach. I met a couple of coaches that sort of moved me along a little bit, and then I met someone who really taught. Like his specialty was leadership, right? And I saw how he led. He led from this place of power. And he said, "Clay, this isn't something I was born with. I learned this, and I can teach it to you." And so I started learning from him, and boy, things changed pretty quickly. Within the span of about a year, my leadership, hockey stick, my ability to lead really grew really fast. I became more effective. My business grew. My relationships grew. I was more connected to my clients and my colleagues and prospects and business partners and those sorts of things. And my success has grown in the way that I measure it, which isn't necessarily the way that everybody else does. But really finding that coach and digging into coaching and really committing to it was a significant turning point for me. So the question is, if you want to find a coach to help you build your leadership, what do you do? Like, what are kind of some of the steps? I'm going to talk about 4 or 5 things you can do that are like really specific. The first thing is you have to have sort of a general idea of what your needs are. The first, you don't have to know exactly what you want. It's okay to be a little bit unclear, but a general idea of what you're trying to create in your business. What changes do you want to see? What are your biggest challenges? Like what's your biggest obstacle and your biggest dream? By understanding those kinds of things, then you can start looking at coaches that have that similar, like that type of experience, or maybe they even specialize in those kinds of changes. That's a great place to start. The next tip is to do some research. Like find a few people that resonate with you, and read their websites. See if they have some YouTube channels. See if they have a blog. See if they've written a book, and really sort of pay attention to what they teach and how they teach it. So like what their credentials are, if they have this certification or that certification, in my experience, is not all that important. I've met some really like highly educated coaches that frankly don't have a lot to offer. And I've met some people with very modest credentials who just blew my socks off, right? And so like to me, the effect the coach has on me, how I feel, is the most important thing. Now, and in order to get there, you have to look at a lot of different people. See if you can have a conversation with the coach. Reach out and see if they'll do a consultation call. Most coaches will who are taking new clients will have a call with you, just to sort of a get to know you kind of call. And so if you're able to do that, really pay attention to how do I feel when I'm with this person. Does this person make me feel inspired and motivated, and not just on a raw level, but like on a deep level? So that's an important next step. So the next point is what I would call aligning values. That's not exactly it, but that's close enough label. And what I mean by that is when you have a conversation with this potential prospective coach, really, like I said before, pay attention to how you feel, but you want to look at the degree to which they have a vision for themselves and the degree to which they have a vision for you. Discuss what you want to create and really create a context, a clear context and agreements. Really be clear on what the conversation goes like this. If we were to work together, here's what I would want to create. Here's my definition of success from a coaching relationship. If you're really clear, as clear as you possibly can be on that, and then then the conversation with that coach is, do you think you can help me create that? Right? And a competent coach is going to say either, yes, I think I can help you, or I'm not the right person for you. Let me introduce you to some other people. Next, kick the tires. Right? Most coaches will offer you a trial session or a complimentary session. And if they don't, ask them for it and say, listen, I'd like to. My experience with coaching is, and I always do this with clients, right? If someone calls, someone's on my radar, or they reach out to me, or I reach out to them. What I say is, and this is true, nobody does what I do the way I do it. Because I can't. It's hard for me to explain to you what I do. Really, the best way to understand what I do is experience it. So let's set up an hour and do a call. And we'll do bring your top of mind issue to the issue or topic to the call, and we'll handle it. Right? We'll do our best to handle it in that call, and then you can describe, use your own language to describe what coaching with me is like. And most coaches will do that. And so ask a coach for that and see if they'll do it. Because really, like, their credentials, their education, your industry, like, those things are kind of important. But the most important piece is the match, the fit between you and the coach. Like, that's the thing that's going to be like make or break you. And I'm not saying, and here's the thing, I'm not saying you have to be fully comfortable. You might choose. I've hired coaches that made me wildly uncomfortable. And I grew so much working with them because I was challenged to grow and really expand my comfort zone. So keep that in mind too as you look for a coach. And this is the final tip I have for you. And this might be the most important one. So I'm glad you hung out long enough to hear this. The final tip for choosing a coach that's going to work for you is for you to commit to the process. Once you find a coach and say, yes, let's do it. Be committed. Be a way inside you called fully committed. And what that means is you make a choice inside you and say, I'm going to show up to calls. I'm going to be there on time. I'm going to prioritize my coaching. And I'm going to make this work for me no matter what. It's not the coach's responsibility to give you value from the coaching. It's your responsibility to extract. I call it squeezing the sponge, right? Like squeezing every drop of value out of that sponge, so that you can get to it, so that it's a wildly wise investment, so that the ROI is off the charts. Like, you can control that return and the value of the coaching. It's up to you. You can do it. So that's the most important part, I think, is really being committed. And what it's called is being coachable. Right? I don't care when I bring a client on, I don't really care what industry they're in, what their role is, what they're working on. Right? I just want them to be coachable. You give me that. It's like bringing an athlete onto a team. I might choose the one with the best scoring record, or I might choose the one with the most heart. Right? Give me somebody with heart, and I'll turn them into a champion. Right? The same is true, outside of athletics. So be that person with heart. Be that person that's committed, and make the choice. Like after you decide on a coach, then make that choice the best choice possible by doing the things I'm talking about here. Be committed. Choosing the right leadership coach can be an absolute game changer in your leadership journey. I mean, it was for me, no doubt about it. It was the one thing that, made me go push through my limits. It was no doubt about it. It can be for you too. Now, remember, leadership is not about positions or titles. It's about impact. It's about influence. It's about inspiring yourself and others. So take the step. Choose a coach, commit to the process, and embark on a journey to become a limitless, extraordinary leader. Be the leader you were meant to be. I've got faith in you. I know you can do it.